How ambitious are you? So today we're going to be talking about the ACR, or the ambitious card routine, and how it might affect your journey into the wilds. So here we go. Let's take a look at a couple of different things. So the first thing we want to do is we want to have a card selected. Now this is just one way to do it. We're going to go with the old Ace of Spades. Now the objective is in life, no matter where you are in the mix of things, we want to find yourself. But this isn't you. It's not you, man. It's not you. You don't need to change who you are to be special. All you need to do is just do some awkward gestures in front of a camera, and you'll find yourself. I don't know. It's good times. Even if we were to lose you into the mix of things, with a little bit of hard work and a little bit of luck, you will find yourself. Absolutely beautiful. Gorgeous. Now, what if we were to, I don't know, try something a little bit different? You'll find that all of the cards here, but I do have one card in my pocket, which happens to be your card. Because you always got to have a secret up your sleeve. So there you have it. A couple of different things to talk about there. But for you who wanted to see some magic, there it is, the old ACR. If you want to stick around to learn this beautiful addition to the ACR, we'll see you. If not, go ahead and subscribe and watch another fantastic video. So how ambitious are you? Are you ambitious enough to stay around to learn this beautiful trick? So here we have a deck of cards. I'm going to break it down for you. So the first thing I did is I had a card selected, but I did it in such a way where you get to choose. You get to see what it is that you want, and you get to pick it. And sometimes life doesn't work out in your favor, but in this case it did, because you have a magician here who knows what he's doing. So basically just having a card selected at random, they can pick whatever card they want. You're going to execute a turnover pass by going through the cards. Now, if you do this, you can control it to the top or the bottom. So in this case, you want to control it to the top, so you're going to want it a part of this pile. But if you wanted it to be a part of the bottom, you would keep it in this hand. Now, as you go through the cards, you spread them out and keep them as even as possible. You're going to keep a little finger touch on the back here. So this is the card they want. You're going to shift it from this hand over to this hand. So you're still keeping that break there. And then when you close it up, okay, so they can see this card, you can show everybody what it is, especially if you want to turn it over, however you want to do it. But you're going to keep that break into this hand as you come back over to here, so that you know that it's not on top of this pack and it's not the next card. So once you have it there, keep it a little messy, because when you spread out the cards, they're going to be into this kind of pile situation like this. So when you close them up, don't square everything up, because you want to keep that, but you want to give the illusion you're not doing that. Do a little break, say a one-liner, have something happening in this moment so that when you come back over to turn the deck over, you have that squaring up action as your cover. So that's the first piece of that, and you're already ahead by having it on top of the deck. Now, the next part is simply executing a double lift, and we're talking about the fact that you don't need to change who you are. You don't need to change who you are. You can stay exactly who you are. And as I'm saying that, there's like a contradiction happening, because this isn't your card. So then as you continue to say change, now you're going to manifest yourself. There's a couple of different ways to do this. Make sure that you're getting body motion in, especially if you have multiple spectators, and then you want that card to simply change. And that's a good way to do that. Now, once this card is here, there's two ways that I like to do this sometimes, depending on if you mess up. But you can execute it the normal way, which is simply by moving the card up with your pinky, but only after you've covered it. You don't want to push up first. You want to cover, then you want to give it the motion as if you're rubbing the ink off. sliding the next card down into this position so that you can get it with the pad of your hand. And then you're simply going to just keep pulling it out until you've got it into a position like this. Now, you could bring it along the sides if you've got it far enough down and just slightly open your fingers so you can see the windows, and then bring it back up to affect the change. Now, it works better when you have either a face card and a pip card or a red and black card. That works well. Now, another way that I like to do this is you simply execute the turnover and do a multiple changeover, which means when you come back up, you're going to push both cards up as a double and grab one of these. And what that's going to allow you to do is it's going to allow you to put this face down card in between the face up cards as you do the change. That way you could show that the other card is gone. So that's a way to do it, but then you've got a face-up card that you have to effectively get rid of, and that's a different topic. So the first thing is obviously talking about change, and you don't need to change who you are. Now we're going to put it into here. This is something I've been doing for years from Chris Ramsey, but you don't want to show the card here in this case, but putting it back in here, you need to get it back to the top without showing the card. So what's a good way to do that? There's multiple different ways to do it. Let's see here. In this particular case, let me back up because I did mess up a little bit. So in this particular case, here's your card. You're turning it over as a double, and you're not showing this card. You're just going to put it back into the mix. Even if you lose yourself, we can still find yourself with a little bit of work. And this is the Chris Ramsey portion where I like to kind of show the deck like this so there's nothing in my hands, and as I come over, I'm simply pushing off the top card just enough that I can cover it with my hand and have a little bit of a lip. So when you come up, you drop it, and that card will turn over on top of the deck. So it's just this magical moment where no matter what they try to do to push you down, you'll always come out on top, however you want to execute that. Sometimes what I like to do is I like to almost throw it, and I'll have cards on the floor, and people will be like, was that part of the trick? And I'm like, yeah, because life is messy. You want there to be movement and action. You can always pick up the cards later, but if that's your character where you're like, you're into it, you're passionate about it, it's fine. Now, the last one that we did was a total changeover, right? Because everything was happening with the deck, but now we did an impossible location, card to pocket. Now, there's a couple of different ways to handle this. You could potentially have a card in your wallet. You could potentially have a card in your pocket, and it's the same card. It's just affecting copying the card into hand. And the way that I execute that is from the back, pushing it in, and that's going to execute this little motion here where cards are going to come out. That's your subtlety and convincer. After about one or two of those, and then you're going to find a nice spot, which is actually going to be a depth illusion that it's actually going to the bottom. Now, as you square it up, you're going to get the thumb break instantly into a pinky break so that you can then execute a cut. Now, what I advocate here is that showing you from a stand-up position as you're cutting in, that if you have smaller hands, you're going to want to turn a little bit, and you're not going to want to flash underneath here. So you want to keep it, again, like this finger is going to cover here. This is where you want their line of sight to be. So if you're turned, if somebody's down here, they're going to see, especially if you just have to practice your angles there. Now, you don't want to drop it right to your pocket. You want to give it a moment, and it's at your side, and then you know what? I think we do have something here for you today. Something actually quite amazing. And kind of make sure that it's the face down so they see the back so that you can affect, draw out the tension for that. So, again, as we talked, the absolutely wonderful thing about the ambitious card routine is that it can be done any way that you want. And you can do 10 phases if you want, but don't get too carried away. But what's nice is that you can affect, you could use different methods for each phase to create a bigger and bigger narrative. So you can customize this to you. That's why I asked, how ambitious are you? Because that's really so important. How ambitious are you? Because you could be ambitious enough to create your own routine, and you could be a beautiful magician and post it on YouTube and share it with us. And let me know how that goes for you. So, of course, I want to make sure that you subscribe to the channel so that you can learn more fantastic magic. You can come along on a beautiful journey, and you can see some card reviews along the way. And hopefully the channel gets better as we go, because that's what it's all about, building and building and building. So thank you, everybody, and remember, stay positive, stay active, and stay awesome. And we'll see you in the next one.